Today I'm going to talk about embossing on metal. This is the same technique a lot of people do on paper with their stationery and their scrapbooking. I bought Embossed brand stamp pad and embossing powders from Blick Art Store. I also have Versamark. It's a watermark stamp pad that I've bought from Michael's Craft Store. You'll need some rubber stamps and some clean copper or brass or silver, whatever metal you're going to use. I always make sure it's clean of fingerprints. Take your rubber stamp and you're going to stamp it in the embossing pad or the watermark pad, and then stamp it onto your metal. There, you can see now that I've stamped on the pattern onto the metal using the special embossing ink pad. I'm going to take the embossing powder now and just sprinkle it onto my metal. You could certainly use a little sifter that you might use if you're enameling. I'm just going to sprinkle it on. I'm making sure that my metal is on a piece of just white computer paper because I'm going to dump then the extra powder that's on my metal onto the paper, and then I do want to save all that spare powder. I want to put it back into my little jar. So you can see the powder stuck to the wet ink in the pattern of my rubber stamp. Now I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to try to clean up here because I'm done with the blue. So I'm going to take some paper and put my little jar on the paper, and then take the first piece of paper with the powder, kind of fold it, and just dump the extra powder into the jar. Alright, so I'll just fold up that first piece of paper and throw it away. Now I've got my metal with my embossing powder on it, and I'm going to take a heat gun and just begin to heat the metal. If you look really closely, you'll see when the powder is done. It turns very liquidy and shiny, and it doesn't look grainy anymore. And then your embossing is finished on your metal. Now it isn't permanent. Like you can watch me take my thumbnail and scrape it off a little bit. Okay, especially because it's still a little warm. So I would do everything to my metal first, and this would be the last step.